Going, going hyperspeed. In 3, 2, 1. Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. I have successfully reached hyperspeed. Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. We have spent 1 year being marooned on this planet. It seems like we have used the proper resources to build ourselves a studio. It seems we have made this discovery of a very strong, sparkling entity called Pixar. Pixar seems to emit some type of energy where it can pull the heartstrings and the emotions, and these are just original ideas straight from the box. Ever since '95, Pixar has been a self-sustaining energy of emotion and sentiment, and it seems like they have been doing the same thing to us, including myself. And they've created an adventure film, an adventure sci-fi spinoff called Lightyear. And I'm here to give you my summary of Lightyear. So, if you are new to this mission log, don't forget to watch everything, because what I may say is important for you to take back to Star Command. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and do this little thing called sharing, because sharing is caring, and that's what we want to do. And most importantly, listen and do not edit this out. Let's begin. So it seems like Disney and Pixar's latest film sees the definitive origin story of myself, Buzz Lightyear, the hero who has inspired the toy. The legendary Space Ranger sees himself on an intergalactic adventure alongside some ambitious recruits, Alisha Hawthorne, Mo and Darby, and my robotic feline, Socks. Goodnight, Socks. As this motley crew embark on their toughest mission yet, they must learn to work as a team to escape the evil Zurg and his dutiful robot army who are never far behind. Now, I'm not sure why they call him Zurg. He has a name. Those robots can't really say anything else besides Zurg, so that's the only name he takes. Now, in 1995, when this planet that we call Pixar is now formed into its own giant emotional entity. But there was a kid in 1995, a young kid named Andy, who wanted a Buzz Lightyear action figure for his birthday, and he got it. But it was based off of his favorite film, and this is that film. It only felt like last month that Disney and Pixar had announced a Buzz Lightyear prequel spinoff that would focus on the Space Ranger that inspired the toy. That's right, the Space Ranger who can actually shoot lasers and fly and actually talk to Star Command. Now, if you were to tell me Tim Allen would be reprising his role for Buzz Lightyear, I would just assume that Pixar is a star that is waiting to die out on its own energy because it was being late and lazy. Instead, they chose Steve Rogers himself, Chris Evans, because he could do this all day. And this helps to keep the film from feeling canonized to the Toy Story franchise, but being its own sci-fi adventure that stands on its own feet. Chris Evans just knocks it out of the cosmos with his voiceover as Buzz Lightyear. The casting of Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear feels honorably fitting as he brings the same authoritative demeanor and determination with Captain America during the Infinity Saga. And speaking of the Infinity Saga, it seems like the coincidental parallels between his take on Buzz and Steve Rogers are complementary. For example, this film sees Buzz Lightyear sticking to his definitive meaning of completing the mission. So kind of like Steve Rogers had his self-centered beliefs. Well, not self-centered beliefs, but his immovable beliefs in his morality. It's kind of like how you see with Buzz Lightyear. People can say the mission is done, but I don't think the mission is done. You can say this is right, but I say it is wrong. Compromise where you can. Where you can't, don't. Even if the world is trying to tell you that something wrong is something right. Even if the whole world is telling you to move. It's your duty to plant yourself like a tree, look them in the eye, and say no. You move. He ends up jolting through time and being ahead of the chronological curve, and he essentially becomes the veteran who leads a squadron of rookies, including the granddaughter of his partner, Alisha Hawthorne. Now I for one speak for the entire Pixar planet when I say that Pixar rarely falls short of any heartwarming and emotional expectations. But this is allegedly the one time that this has occurred thus far. Whenever we know or detect a Pixar movie will take a familiar segue to something sentimental, they find a detour every time to aim for the heart. The heart and soul of this film comes from the timeline that Buzz and Alisha Hawthorne shares together. But whenever we see the movie trying to make us care about the relationship between Buzz and Alisha, I gotta be honest, guys, it doesn't work for me. The emotional objective may be trying to care about their relationship, but the quick recovery happens when Buzz and Izzy share sentiment with one another because of the legacy left behind by her grandmother. Even when Buzz feels ahead of his own time, also like Steve Rogers, he still has a chance to not only complete the mission with a Hawthorne, Izzy, but to keep that piece of her alive by inspiring the aspirational. This isn't just Izzy, who is a little bit afraid of the endless void of space, but she wants to be a space ranger just like Alisha, and I need to inspire her to make sure she fulfills that aspiration. Now, the shortage of characters in the free space this film has almost makes it evoke WALL-E and Up, and that's kind of a surprising comparison considering how great those films are. How I love one of those movies a lot more than the other. Star Command's residence on an uncharted planet, and the time-lapse that transpires creates a bleak and dystopian tone of some sorts. This is all because of me. Now when it comes to the action, it is beneath most action sequences in a Pixar film, but pretty decent for a sci-fi adventure, I will say. Zurg has always been iconic as my arch nemesis, but I think this film may have ruined him. It was a weak twist that only made fans reminisce on the Star Wars gag in Toy Story 2, which if you've seen that movie, you know how pathetic that was, how silly that was. And in a surprising way, they kind of bring that up again. And it serves no purpose other than what would happen if the mission had gone according to plan and normal logic. Now, if, in other words, it's a scenario in which I would have aged like everybody else around me, and I would have lived life with Alisha, and I wouldn't have missed so much. The only difference is I didn't have a date waiting on me. Rotten Tomatoes, this base on Pixar called Rotten Tomatoes, currently has it at a 77%. It had a 77% as of the recording of this mission log. While not as Infinity and Beyond as some of Pixar's recent projects, Lightyear is a solid sci-fi adventure flick, an origin tale that shies away from Toy Story lore to give us a more personal and intimate journey of the flagship protagonist of the brand. So for that, I will put it on the same spectrum between Cars 3 and Brave, 8.1 out of 10. So that is all I had to say about my spin-off Space Rangers. If you have any good or bad to say about this film, or if you have any good or bad to say about Zurg, how he was used, or if you have any concerns about my fellow troops, Izzy, Mo, and Darby, and Socks. If you love Socks, feel free to share that in the comments below. If you have any condolences to send to Alisha, I will appreciate that also. Until next time, Space Rangers, to infinity and beyond.